Welcome to Paris, France for the third and final day of the most important karate event in the journey for those athletes who have not yet qualified for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. 40 athletes from around the world had already booked their ticket to Tokyo through the Olympic standings. But following the Senior World Championships, 5 Continental Championships, 13 Karate One Premier League tournaments and 7 Karate One Series A events, the qualifying tournament here in Paris over the past 3 days have provided the last opportunity for the 500 athletes from 98 countries to stake a claim on the final 24 places across 8 divisions. Day 1 and Day 2 results saw qualifications in all but the last 2 divisions. The female plus 68 kilogram and the male plus 75 kilogram. Of the original 24 places, there are now just 6 places remaining. Our program comes to you live from the Stade Pierre de Coubertin, named after the father of the modern Olympics. The program is being broadcast on TV networks around the world and live streamed on Karate World TV. I'm Billy Brennan, and joining me to provide you with commentary for all of the action is former World Karate Champion, member of the WKF Executive Committee and Chairman of the WKF Athletes Commission, David Benatello. Welcome, Billy. David. Day 3.
Day 3, last day.
Absolutely.
6 more places for Tokyo and the heaviest category.
Again, it's a merger of, though, plus 75 or
yes.
under 75 and plus 84 coming together in the plus 75 in the male event, isn't it?
Yes. Billy, under 84 plus 84.
Under 84 plus 84,
yes.
correct.
I know that sometimes we
yes.
get confusion
There's so
because
many
we
events.
say plus 75 and it's plus 75, but it's much more than plus 75.
Of course it is.
Most of them has 110 kilo.
Some incredibly big boys there, that's for sure.
Yes.
And these are the referees who are the Olympic referees who will be going to Tokyo. And as we welcome onto the tatami, the athletes who will be competing in the round-robin event. Now, they have already gone through the elimination stage, and these final 4, as you see on the graphic here, the table, this is populated with zeros, but there are 3 columns here. The GS, which is the general score, the PF, that's the points for, and the PA is the points against, and in the final column, the B, that's the number of bouts that the athletes have actually been taken at that point. And you'll see throughout the tournament as that table changes. And yesterday, we ended up with a situation where all 4, after 3 matches, were on 2 points each.
Yes.
And then, of course, there is a tie-break situation that comes with that. Now, the referees, I'll explain the tie-break for you a little later, but the referees are now checking the gis and the equipment to make sure that the athletes are correctly wearing the correct safety equipment, the hand pads, the colors blue or red, the shin pads, and, of course, the foot protection. Now, each of the athletes can wear a red or blue, and they have to have that color depending on whether they've been drawn as aka, which is red, or ao, which is blue. And the shoulders, you can see here on one of the athletes, Silvia Semarero from Italy. Congratulations, Davide. You have another athlete in the pool in the round robin. On the shoulders there, they can wear red or blue embroidery, and that depicts, Again, it's an opportunity to distinguish much easier between the 2 athletes. Now, have to wear, in addition to that, a gumshoe. They don't have to wear those face masks, but the face masks, of course, are part of the WKF's COVID-19 protection protocol, which, of course, you would have been involved in Davide, wouldn't you, in deciding how that should go, and the medical commission would be looking at that. So they won't be wearing the face mask throughout the competition. And the male team line up here. They are the 4 finalists, as you can see here. Gogita Akania, that's great to see him in this in this position. Yes. Daniel Gazinski from Canada, Tariq Ahmedi from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and Tyron Darnell Ladi. These are the athletes that will be contesting, and just to let you know that there are two separate tables. So this one is for the male plus 75 kilogram,
Yes.
and the other for the female. And after there'll be a kind of a flip-flop between the two. So we'll have a male event, female event, and then those tables you'll see updated as we go through.
Yes.
You see here the same procedure is going to be conducted by the referee, and you notice there was some hand protection on the fingers of one of the athletes, and that is allowed if the doctor has accepted it. But the referee can actually, if it's too much padding, in addition to the protective equipment, the referee could ask them to change that. You just see at the side there, the ties on the side of the gi. They're important at the beginning. They must be tied together. You see there was a knot on the side of that. But if they get pulled off, and they can't they, Davide, with the combat, they don't have to change it. But if they didn't have those ties on the gi at the beginning of competition, then they would have to change the gi.
Yes, everything has to be
right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning, for sure.
And this is how tough it can be, because if one of the athletes comes to the tatami incorrectly dressed, they literally have 1 minute to resolve it.
Yes.
And we have seen that before in competition, not so much at elite level like this, but at national level certainly, where perhaps they may have red shin pads when they should have blue, because they're simply forgotten.
Yes.
But 1 minute to change it.
Yes, because of the tense.
And the reason for that is so that the referees and judges, the judges in particular, because they are the ones that will be giving the points, if they see a flash of red, they could mistakenly think that that was a red score. But if it was a red shin guard on what would be a blue foot with a blue pad, that can lead to confusion. So it is important that they have the correct equipment.
Yes.
And this is the formal Ray. And if you haven't joined us for the last 2 days of competition and you're not so familiar with the rules of competition, there are different disciplines. There's the kata event, which took place yesterday and on Friday. There is the kumite events, and that is what we'll be watching now. And this is the table for the female plus 68 kilogram category. And you see Melissa Brasic and Silvia Semarero. They've been highlighted in red and blue, and they will be the two first athletes to make their way to the tatami. And they'll be introduced in just a moment. And when they are, they'll come to each of the sides. You see on the center of the tatami, there are two red rectangles. Now, the tatami itself is 8 meters square, and the fighters have to remain within that 8 meter square. Should they step off of their own accord, it would be a category 2 warning. And a category 2 warning would be for jogai, and that's the term used because the language for karate worldwide is Japanese. And here is Silvia Semarero from Italy, and she will be the first athlete to make an entrance to the tatami. Silvia Semarero has fought incredibly well to get through to this round-robin event. She was a junior world champion and a senior bronze medalist. She's also had bronze medals in the European Championships. Now, she won't come on to the tatami until she meets her opponent here, and it is Melissa Brasic from Canada. And Melissa hasn't won at world level, but she has had 2 bronze medals in the Pan American Games as a senior, but she's also been a junior Pan American champion. And there are the 5 athletes that had already qualified prior to the qualification tournament here, and I'll tell you as we go through the round just who those athletes are. On the scores, you can see here on the graphic, the match is for 3 minutes. So we're at 2 minutes 46 seconds. And as the athletes score points, you'll see those zeros turn to 1 or 2, whatever it may be. And I'll explain as we go through exactly what those scores will be. This is a category 2 warning, and the reason for that was because she pushed her opponent down to the tatami. And you're not allowed to push or pull or grab or hold with both arms. And Davide, this was your discipline as world champion and team and individual. And when you get to the male event, certainly you would have been in the mix, no doubt, in the days when you were competing. And you're the expert in kumite.
Yes.
Well,
Yaku Jordan.
great timing, that wasn't it?
Yaku Jordan, right time.
In your time, it would have been Ippon. Yes, of course.
Yes. Also now, 1 point.
1 point. And you can see in the background the judge with his arm down to the side. And that signifies a Yuko score, a 1 point score. If you see the judge put their arm out to the side horizontally, that would be for a wazari. That would be a 2 point score. And if the flag is above the head, it would signify a 3 point score, Ippon. So, Yuko, wazari, Ippon. 1, 2, 3. On the graphic, there are two underneath the scores. You can see C1 and C2. And each of the athletes now have a category 2 warning against them. And should they get 3 on the 4th, they will lose the match through disqualification, Hansoku. And there with the exchange of punches. And as you can see, the referee now has given a second warning, this time in category 1, and he's gone straight to the second level, Kekoku. So there are 2 orange dots in C1 on the graphic.
Yes,
Initially
C1.
he went for C2, and that's been taken away because it was a contact violation. And the 2 do not cross-accumulate. So Silvia Semarero has the 1 point Yuko score. She also has Senchu.
Yes.
And Senchu, as you well know, Davide, is kind of replicates the old Shobu Ippon. The first point was decisive, wasn't
Yes.
it? And if it's unopposed, and as this one was, that Ippon, or that score, would be rewarded because it was unopposed with a Senchu. And that gives an advantage should the match end in a draw. If it were 1-1, whichever of the athletes had that yellow dot alongside their number, their score, that would indicate that they have Senchu, and they would take the win.
Very quiet bout without too big risk. Wow, almost. Almost, eh?
It was very, very close.
Yes.
Just to let everyone know also that the coaches, first of all, the judges would indicate scores, but if the coach feels that there was a score, they can request a video review. And they would stand and put the card up, in which case the referee would stop the match, indicate a video review, and I'm sure as we go through the rounds, you'll see exactly what that entails.
I see difference in power in this bout. It looks that Semarero is more powerful.
She's certainly is focused, isn't she, Davide? She's going to extend her score again. And that punch to the head, that reverse punch with the backhand, certainly is paying off. She'll now have a second Yuko score. That's 2-0 she leads with just 18 seconds remaining. Chula Mawashi there from Semarero.
Yes.
Now, the other thing that we need to consider is, apart from the win, the points that the athletes and the fighters score is also really important.
Yes.
And should they end up in a draw, those points will come into play. Oh, Jordanura Mawashi, but she lost her balance on the way. That was very, very close. That would have been a very good call. So Silvia Semarero takes the first win.
Yes.
2 points to her.
Very clean bout. I expected more penalties from Silvia. Usually she is penalized for grabbing.
Yes, well, that happened in early on, didn't it, Davide?
But also the opponent is very clean fighter, so that's why very few penalties. And okay, there was a contact, but we are a fight sport, so
of course,
yes.
Of course, you expected. Now here's the table, as you see. Silvia Semarero, she has 2 points for the win, and she scored 4 points. So in that second column, PF, you can see that. And at the bottom of the table, Melissa Bratic, she's gone to the bottom of the table because she has not any points on the match, but she's conceded 4 points.
Yes.
That's why she's down there at the moment. But that will change as the round robin starts to develop further.
Yes.
Our second bout in the female plus 68 kilogram category in the Olympic qualification tournament here in Paris is Ferel Abdelaziz of Egypt. She will be up against Elena Carici of Switzerland. Elena Carici hasn't won at world level, but she has been twice European champion. She's also had a couple of bronze medals as well in the senior European championships. So very experienced. There's a kick to be mindful of, because Ferel Abdelaziz is certainly incredibly supple enough to be able to whip in that hooking kick if Carici doesn't keep her hands high when she comes in to make her attack.
Yes, she has a very, very good Uramawashi short distance. But Elena is an expert fighter. Elena is very expert since many years. I didn't see Billy.
Yep, there was a Zuki from both sides actually, but it was the punch from Abdelaziz that receives the award. There is a video review challenge that we spoke about. You see the coach standing up in the background. That's the signal that the referee gives to show there's a video, and the assistant referee at the back there puts the fist at the side of the body. That indicates that there's a reverse punch to the body. You see the punch now going in, and the video review team down in the left-hand corner of your screen, Pirkko Heinonen of Finland,
maybe
and
not.
Juan Antonio Velasco of Spain. They will make a decision. So it says no. Giuseppe Zaccaro from Italy says no score. So coach has now lost the card. On the screen at the back, you will see alongside that yellow and that white, the white board there and the blue 0, there is no yellow card any longer. So that coach cannot use that for a video review request any further. And wakarete is the instruction the referee would give to ask the fighters to separate. If they don't, they will then penalize both with a category 2 warning, and you can see here that that's exactly what's happened.
Yes.
And my apologies for those karate experts who know all of what I'm trying to, I'm saying here, but I think it's important for those that aren't perhaps karate experts that that the rules are explained, because they can be quite complex, can't they, Davide?
Yes, sometimes it's complex. We would like to see more points than penalties, but sometimes you could also win or lost a bout because of penalties. So
Exactly, because you can. There are so many more ways to fall foul of the rules, and
yes,
it's much more difficult to score a point, isn't it?
actually yes. But I see that Elena is always trying to reduce the distance and risk some penalties. She knows that if she come back from a technique in a clean way, she could have trouble with reverse attack. So that's why she go to the short distance to avoid any.
Yes, because of that kicking ability from
Yes.
Abdelaziz. And there again, she tries that very close. But the judges certainly weren't convinced. Neither was the coach, because there's been no video review request. The outcome of the action there was that Korichi would be warned for pushing and receives a keikoku. That's the second level, category 2. Now this could lead to a contact violation, or so if one of the athletes hits the other too hard and the referee believes it was not a control technique, they can give a warning in category 1.
I really don't like so much this kind of tactic for make clean points.
I think both fighters are struggling to get the right distance, aren't they? Clearly, Korichi is trying to close Abdelaziz down so that she can frustrate her with the kicking ability she obviously has. That was better. That was better. Distance was met on that occasion. So 1 point she takes from that. She will also have the she will also now level up the score, but the senchu still remains with Feral Abdelaziz.
Wow. 2 flag for blue. Now it becomes difficult,
Yes, because Korichi in the lead with just 2 seconds to go. And that is it. She was leading for so long, wasn't she, with that 1 point, but Abdelaziz has succumbed to the tenacity of Elena Korichi, who takes the win. All importantly, she takes the 2 points from the bout.
Okay. I don't know why the Egyptian coach didn't call video review, because there was the point.
It did look good, didn't it?
Much more point than Elena.
Here's the table. Both of the Elena Carici and Semarero on 2 points each, but as you can see, Semarero has 4 points scored against Carici's 1, and no points against Carici's 1. So she is higher in the table because of the scores that she's achieved.
Yes. And we have 0 for Canada and Egypt.
That's it. But that again could change. And now we are back to the other side of the table, and this is the male plus 75 kilogram. And this bout will be between Tariq Ahmedi and Tyrone Ladi Daniel of the Netherlands. And here we see the table. Everything is
0.
all to play for. No points on the board just yet.
So we just begin our long trip.
Exactly. And this is Tariq Ahmedi, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Former junior world champion.
I didn't see other Saudi Arabian athletes in the round robin the days before, and I was surprised because they have some very good level athletes.
Yes, they do indeed.
Yes. But I remember this guy. He's not so tall, but he's a very good fighter.
Tyrone Daniel Ladi from the Netherlands. He has been a really active fighter on the scene for several years now, but he hasn't been successful at world or continental level.
No.
Referee for the bout, Ma Hyunting from China.
Wow. Maybe there is 20 centimeter difference, eh? 20 not, but 15, yes.
Yes. But both of them are big and would normally be in the plus 84 category, wouldn't they?
Do you think we should have also category divided by height?
By height. the super. Well, in some disciplines they have the super heavyweights, don't
yes,
they?
Super heavyweight, yes.
In some sports. So here you can have someone who is just plus 75 kilogram up against someone who could be 110 kilogram. And that can be seen in Team Kumite, although Team Kumite is not part of the Olympic program.
Yes. Why you don't call video review with this Mavashigeri? Why?
Well, if we get a chance to have a look at that at the end, we might see whether it was convincing or not, but certainly it didn't convince the judges, and the coach didn't want to go for it. As you mentioned yesterday, Davide, I think the other part of the coach, he or she has got a difficult thing in that if they give the card too early and they're not 100% sure, they may rue that decision in the next 2 bouts. Because they would have lost the card and wouldn't be able to continue.
This penalty was unnecessary. So now point.
So the first point goes to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia through Tariq Ahmedi.
I didn't see Technique very clear.
Oh, but it was a...
There is also video review, yes.
Yeah.
You know, when you are so tall and your opponent is not so tall, to find the right target is not so easy. Eh?
No, they've got to go low. You can just see on the screen here, both going in at the same time. Now the punch from Ahmedi has scored, and the question here is whether or not Tariq Ahmedi's score was acceptable. And now, as you see on the screen here, the way the punch came out was rising, and the finish of the punch was very low.
Yes.
So it didn't have good form, and it didn't meet that 6 criteria for an ippon or a point. Chudan Mawashi, that was a good effort. That would have lacked vigorous application, wouldn't it, Davide? It wasn't really strong enough, was it?
Yes. This was
yes, he was using that longer reach that he has.
Yes, long arm.
And Ladi now gets himself on the scoreboard with a Yuko. He still trails by 1 Yuko and the Senchu advantage held by Ahmedi. Oh, he walked straight into trouble that time. Ahmedi is going to extend his lead by a further Yuko. Into the last 40 seconds.
Wow, almost,
that was close, wasn't it?
Almost to Mawashi.
Sweeping technique, the leg sweeping technique there from Tariq Ahmedi. Ashibarai. Cameraman nearly got
Open up
scored on.
Open up penalty for this. No. No, please don't. Okay. This was not a penalty. This was a normal situation fighting.
And I know this is an area that really does frustrate you at times, Davide, doesn't it? Because there is a fine line between falling foul of the rules and basically where something that can just allow the match to flow. So in the last 10-15 seconds, referee calls Yame after that whistle. You heard the whistle, and if the referee doesn't see the flags of the judges, the 4th official, or the 5th official, in this case, who's seated out of view, blows the whistle to alert the referee. So 4 points to 1.
Yame. Why, guy? We have to wake up now, eh? It's time.
Absolutely.
It's time. It's time to wake up.
Yeah. So the first win goes to Tariq Ahmedi.
But good.
But yes.
The best won, at least.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So here's the table now. After one bout each, you can see at the top, Tariq Ahmedi has now gone on to the top of the table. He's got 2 points, 4 points in favour, 1 against. Tyron Daniel Ladi, he hasn't got any points, but he goes in that position because he has scored a point, although he has 4 against. And now we move on to the next rounds, which will be Gogita Akania, and he will be up against Daniel Kaczynski of Canada. Gogita Akania is from Georgia, and he was very unlucky not to qualify through the European Championships, where he lost out narrowly, it has to be said, very narrowly, to the current world champion, Jonathan Horn from Germany, who is already secured his ticket to Tokyo.
Who is in Tokyo on this category?
In this category,
Really?
we have Ur Aktash of Turkey,
Yes.
Ryotara Araga from Japan, Sajjad Ganjade from Iran, Jonathan Horn, the world champion from Germany, and Ivan Kvesic, who's also a world champion from Croatia.
Okay. So
And that is the current situation, and that of course will change as the top three in this round robin event will also join those athletes.
here we have about, I think, 15 years difference in age.
Well, certainly Gogita Akania is becoming toward the end, I have to say, of his career, but his ability to compete at this level is still phenomenal.
Yes.
It's unusual to have a fighter who is staying in the sport and continuing to have the ambition that Gogita has.
Look, Gogita is looking for the qualification for Tokyo since the beginning.
And it didn't quite come off on that occasion, but that is certainly a technique to watch for, because he's exceptionally good at takedowns.
He missed some good opportunity as the World Championship to get point for the Olympic standing.
Yes.
And that's why he's here, otherwise he should be already qualified.
And those athletes that I mentioned that have qualified, they have done so because of the Olympic standing. They're at the top of the tree, and they would have amassed the most Olympic points throughout all of the competitions that I referred to in the opening of the program.
There is a lot of Tsutsukete in that movement.
There
is a lot of Tsutsukete in only one little movement of those two athletes. Okay, Yuko.
So the first point
And Senshu.
and the Senshu has gone to Gogita Akania. He has been a world and bronze medalist. He was a world champion in 2014.
Second point, we have to
And now
take care of
yes,
Gaginski, because he can perform very, very good kick. He went to the round robin with the wonderful Shiro Ramabashi.
yes. Yushiro Mawashi, for those that are not familiar, is a turning back kick.
Yes, on the face.
On the face?
On the face.
Oh, my word.
Yes.
To do that with control.
Yes.
And to score ippon.
And he scored, he got 3 points, and he reached round robin. So,
Well, the live stream that the WKF provided on World Karate TV will certainly have captured that. And if anybody wants to refer back to that, I'm sure they could find it on the footage.
yes.
Was it day one or day two?
No, it was,
Or today? It was today.
today,
Of
yes,
course,
yes,
it was
it was
today.
today.
So
was 1 hour ago.
1 hour ago.
More or
There we are.
less.
So if you look on the live stream later,
Bang.
you'll find that. There was a Zuki.
Yes, it looks not so strong, no?
So there are a number of things that can happen with this. There could be a point. The referee could give a Mabobi because he believes that
A contact.
Kaczynski didn't protect himself on the way through, or a warning. And in this case, it's a warning and a keikoku. So And this could also be a, make sure you don't come into my range too easily from Gogita,
Stay far away.
because I can hit you hard. He certainly is saying that he will not be intimidated by the bigger and heavier fighter. And just as he came out of that encounter, Kaczynski stepped back off the tatami, so he'll have a Category 2 warning. Coming into the last minute, it's still Gogita Akania of Georgia leading 1-0. He has the Senchu. It is a shame, isn't it, Davide, that we can't have an audience in the stadium.
Yes.
Because of this dreadful COVID-19 pandemic. But it is necessary because, as you see, all of the officials are having to wear their face masks. All of the athletes, all of the officials, everybody associated with the event have been kept in a bubble here in Paris for the duration of the event. Everyone has had to have PCR tests, antigen tests. We've had so many, haven't we, Davide?
Yes.
But it is unfortunately necessary at this particular time. We have to keep these athletes safe so that they can realize their dream in Tokyo in just 49 days now.
I think there was also a point for Gogita, but no video review.
No. And no flags.
It's not enough.
Just 7 seconds to go. The only thing here is to score a point from... Oh, and there we go. And Gogita has done exactly that. He knew that Kaczynski would be trying to increase his lead, and he fell into the defensive trap of Akania. There's a video review request from the coach of Canada. And the video review team there have decided on what they perceive to be the best image to look at. Let's just see.
Let me see.
As Kaczynski comes forward. There's the punch. There's the counter.
Yes,
You can see
yes.
from that angle, it looks as though it passed the side of the face.
Actually,
And it has been rejected. Fariba Madani from the United States puts up that red card. And I think it looked as though it passed there, didn't it, Davide?
but also the punch of Gogita miss, to be honest, but was point. But we know that it's very easy to see slow
So,
motion to decide.
Gogita-
Referees don't have slow motion. They have to take a decision in a while, and so let's go.
So the win goes to Gogita Akania of Georgia, 2-0.
Highlight, Yakutsuki.
There was a Gyakuzuki.
Simple technique, right timing, pam.
Classic karate technique.
Yes.
And there was a double zuki there from Gogita, and the punch coming in from Kaczynski. That was a good replay of the punch from the Canadian. Here's a chance to have a look at the board, and you can see Tariq Ahmedi still stays on top. Gogita Akania is in second place, even though they have 2 points each.
Yes.
But Tariq Ahmedi has 4 points scored on his favour and 1 against. Gogita Akania, 2 points and 1 against. So that's the reason that they are. And at the bottom, although there's no score and the 2 points for 1 each, it's the points against that has put Tyron Darnell Ladi at the bottom. Should there be a draw at the end of the rounds by one or more, or by two or more of the competitors who have the same number of points, the criteria that is applied means that if the winner is found after each of the areas, then they will be awarded the win. So that would include, for example, the winner of the bouts between the two athletes head to head. So in this case, it would be Semarero and Carici. If they ended up 2-2, it would be who beat the other.
Okay.
If that was the same, then it would be the higher number of the total scores, those scores in favour.
Yes. Okay.
And that would start to separate them.
Okay.
And should that be the same, it would be the lower number of scores against.
I understand.
And should it go any further than that, it would be who scored the most Ippon scores, the most three-point scores. And then who succumbed to the least Ippon scores. So it's highest, lowest, highest,
Yes,
lowest.
yeah,
And it goes through that whole process through Wasaris and Yukos.
But we will not reach.
But it's unlikely to get there. But that's...
in case, we will explain to our
Of
audience.
course we will. Of course we will do that once more.
Yes. Now we want to see the bouts. And
So Ferrell,
both of
Abdelaziz
them lost the first bout.
they did. And Melissa Bratic now, they're coming out in the female plus 68 kilogram category. Bratic lost her first bout, 4 points to 2. And Abdelaziz lost hers, but she did score a point. She lost 2-1 against Elena Carici. Now, both of these know that because they have each lost a bout, if one of them can win, it puts them right back into the mix of the leaders in the round robin. If they lose, it cements them pretty much to the bottom of the table. So this is a really important bout for both of these athletes who have so far lost their first round. And that can explain, to be fair, why they are so hesitant to engage. Yes. They have been given warnings for not doing so. By the referee from Sweden, Francesca Marquez Aru. And this pushing forward, testing, trying to find an opening. There was that hooking Uramewashi. I'm sure that will become effective for her at some point during either this bout or the next. Remember, each athlete only has 3 bouts.
Short.
That Joran Gyakazuki there from Abdelaziz certainly did get the support of the judges, so she'll be relieved to have that. She'll also have the Senchu advantage to go with it, so there's the yellow dot. That puts more pressure on Bratic. She will now be sitting on the bottom of the table if she's going to lose. There's that Uramewashi again. And Bratic just ducking her head out of the way and into a safety position. Al has been penalised, and there's a video review request from the coach of Bratic, and it's for a Joran kick. That's the kick.
Wow. Maybe
Joran Uramewashi. Now,
Let me
whether
see.
it came in
Maybe
or whether
yes.
it was on the top of the shoulder.
No, it was on the head, I think.
Let's see. There's the punch. That's the kick.
Rules say that.
So it is possible to score on the neck, and it is possible to score on the head, but it isn't possible to score on the shoulder.
The shoulder was not on the shoulder. Maybe it was on the neck, or was on the face.
And it's, to be honest, it's difficult to see conclusively from that position. But the referees would have looked at the others, and they have said no, it isn't. So it's perhaps that they felt that it was wasn't. It was a difficult decision for the panel to make,
Yes.
and it's such an important one. Remembering that there are 6 criteria that must be met, and they have to be absolutely clear that all 6 criteria were present. And that's a Yuko score this time. A much easier decision for the panel to make. And a much clearer technique from the Egyptian fighter Ferrell Abdelaziz. This time, Abdelaziz tries to feint with the heel kick and put in a mawashi, but it didn't work. And there is the kick again, that same attempt from Bratic. Into the last 15 seconds. Bratic has to go forward now. She does not want to come out of this as a loser. If she can get a Nippon score, she'll be a winner. If she gets 2 points, then in this situation, she will get a draw because the reason is that Abdelaziz has stepped off the tatami. She'll now have a Hansoku Chui and she'll lose the Senchu. That yellow dot will disappear. 2-2. So Bratic must score 2 points. That's not going to happen. And the win will go to Abdelaziz. 2 points to 0. And she'll take the 2 points and join the other 2 front runners in the pool. Let's have a look, see if there's an opportunity in the replay. There may be, of that kick that we were talking about, and the video review occurred. And that's the kick. There was the counter. That's the kick. You could see the whole of the foot come past.
Yes.
In that image, you could see the whole of the foot pass the head of Abdelaziz. And that's probably why it didn't receive the score. And it just shows you, doesn't it, Davide? It's all about angles.
Yes. Sometimes.
And
yes.
here is the table now. You can see 3 of the athletes now, 3 of the fighters on 2 points apiece. Bratic is at the bottom. We got Semarero with 2 points. She scored 4-0 against. Ferrell Abdelaziz, 2 points. Now she's leapfrogged Elena Carici because she scored more points, 3-2 against 2-1. And remember, it's the points 4 that count first.
Yes.
Another chance to see Elena Carici in action. And she is up against Silvia Semarero. So this is an important one, isn't it, Davide? Because it's going to start to see who comes closer to the top. If they can get a draw, at least a draw, they could see their ticket to Tokyo looking very, very promising, couldn't they?
No, in my opinion, not for Elena, because the last bout will be with the Canadian girl, and will be a real bout.
That would be really good.
Yes. So we will see this bout.
Gathering her thoughts.
I don't think that they are looking for a draw. I don't think.
Referee for the bout pulls them into the center. Darko Zaric from Slovenia calls him underway. It was a sharp opening there from Semarero, didn't it?
Yes.
It was off the front leg. It's difficult to get that velocity in the technique from the front leg, but it can be done, of course.
But also not at the beginning of the bout immediately, because Silvia has a bad memory about penalties. She was disqualified for the bronze medal in 2016 in Linz.
Yes.
Because of passivity, and that was a bad experience for an athlete for a medal.
But a huge learning curve.
Yes.
She's never succumbed to that problem ever since, that's for sure. But you're right, it was just after karate was recognized as an Olympic sport. In fact, it was the first medal bout after karate had been. Yes. I remember commentating on it and saying, "Welcome to Olympic karate," and then it was a passivity, Jogai, Hansoku. Not the best match to start the Olympic career for the sport, but that was very close, wasn't it? There's no flags, and the coach didn't feel it was in. Now Korichi, her coach has lost the card because he called a video review earlier, and he can't have the card back. So Silvia Semarero is leading with the advantage from Senchu that she got with that first unopposed score. Good combination there from Semarero again, wasn't it? But
she's giving the distance.
Yes.
She's giving the distance.
But I think in this situation, she was thinking about the kick rather than the punch.
Yes.
And because of that, it was where Korichi was able to get in and now has the advantage. She's 2 points to 1 up.
Yes, this is point, huh? In my opinion, is point. But no video review calling. Okay, let's go.
And the coach didn't feel that it was confident enough to call that.
Yes.
Semarero receives a second warning, category 2, this time for pushing. That was the hand gesture that the referee made. Felt that Semarero had pushed Korichi down to the tatami. Of course, the athletes are trying to force an error from their opponent, and if they can get them to step off the tatami, then of course that would be a category 2 warning. Coming into the last minute of the bout. Still Korichi leading 2 points to 1. At the moment it stands coming into the last 30 seconds. Korichi in the lead, 2 points to 1. If she gets another win, that'll put her on top of the table. She'll have 4 points. Semarero had a win in the first round, so she's still sitting in there, even if she were to lose this. Korichi gets another warning, category 2. Punch was nearly there. Now Karichi is obviously frustrating Semarero, and the referee has indicated that it was a time-wasting tactic, and by holding on, he's given her a Hansokachi which she can't full foul anymore. Semarero putting her under more pressure. There's that Chuda Mawashi from Semarero. The roundhouse kick to the back. She's going to get herself a warning. Now, she will lose the Senchu as a result of this because we're in the last 15 seconds, and you'll see that yellow dot disappear from the screen. She has to score at least one more point to get a draw, and they would have 1 point each, but she doesn't. And the win goes to Elena Karici of Switzerland. Oh, hang on. That's just before that happens, there is a video review challenge or request from the coach. And if this is successful, it's for a head kick or a high kick. Now, if this is successful, it would completely reverse that situation.
Sure, very difficult, I think. Very difficult at this point.
In fairness to the coach, he doesn't have the benefit of 4 screens. The judges didn't go for the score. And this again is a very important call for the video review team. Now you see in the bottom left-hand screen that kick came up and went down. Now if this is the kick, because there were 2 kicks to the head, the first one went over the head of Karici, the second one looked to be too far. So it was away and there was no score, so that win goes to Elena Karici of Switzerland. So she has now amassed 4 points, so she's clearly in the front runner, and she only has 1 more match to go. So it's safe to say that she's on her way to Tokyo with 2 wins. Elena Karici, she has 4 points now.
Ah, okay.
So she sits on the top of the table. Silvia Semarero is still in second place. Ferrell Abdelaziz, she's in second place. You'll see the table now, look. Elena Karici, 4 wins in 2 bouts, 4 points in 2 bouts. Semarero, 2 points.
So Melissa is out.
So Melissa Bratic, she's got no points at all. So she has still got 1 more match.
Yes.
So she could come on to challenge Ferrell Abdelaziz, depending on what the score is, if Ferrell Abdelaziz loses her last bout.
But there is the direct.
But there is the direct head-to-head.
Yes.
If they are drawn.
Yes. So I think it's over for
Abdelaziz and Bratic. The result there
was
where are we? Just have a quick look if I can find the result for you.
But Melissa lost.
Yeah, Melissa Bratic lost 2 points to 0.
So
it's over for her, really, isn't it?
It's over.
So we are now on to the male plus 75 kilogram category once more. Tyron Daniel Ladi from the Netherlands. But he's coming for his second bout. He lost the first one 4-1 to Tariq Ahmedi. And he's up against Gogita Akania of Georgia. He won his first match against Daniel Kaczynski of Canada. And he has 2 points on the table.
that with the experience, Gogita can manage this bout.
Well, the form that he's been producing has been incredible, and he could easily have qualified on a number of occasions in the Olympic standing, and he's just fallen short, hasn't he, Davide?
Yes.
But this could well be his day. The referee calls Sukate, and he's given them quite a lot of opportunity to score, but it's now a warning, passivity. Referee Guido Abdullah from Guatemala.
Unnecessary.
Akanida being penalised for holding on. You can only hold with two hands if it is catching a kick.
Yes.
Otherwise, it has to be a one-hand takedown. And yesterday, we saw a fabulous example of that with a
Yes.
Ouchigari from
Amazing.
Haspataki, Gabor Haspataki. The most important point I think he's ever scored in his life so far. Put him into the Olympics.
I think at this moment that Gogita is looking for a draw. Maybe not risk too much.
Because if he gets a draw from this,
He's qualified. I think he's qualified.
but he will have 3 points.
I don't know. We have to look.
It can be a risk, of course. Much better to have 4 points,
Yes.
obviously.
For sure.
That was very close as well from Ladi. As we come into the last couple of seconds, time up, it's going to be a draw.
I told you he was looking for a draw.
Yeah. He wasn't prepared to take the risks, was he? Because if he... Much better to have a safe 1 point than no points in that
Risky
second
2
match.
points.
Of course.
Or 0.
Or 0.
So I am curious to see the board.
Well, we have Gogita sitting, he'll be sitting on the top, as you see, with 3 points. Tariq Ahmedi with 2 points. Tyre and Daniel Ladi, he just got that point and is pushing Daniel Gazinski down into the bottom of the table. This is going to be a do or die for Daniel Gazinski. Gazinski needs a win, desperately needs to win to pull himself up there. And the points in the second table, again, you can see Akania with 2 points, but he's only scored 2 with 3 points, and he's only scored 2, 1 against. Tariq Ahmedi, if he can come back with another point, he would leapfrog Gogita to go to the top of the table.
Yes.
So there's still a lot to play for in this round-robin tournament.
But is Gazinski lost? Is over. And it's over for Gogita, that is qualified. Not for the bottom now. Yes, I'm sorry.
So this is a really, really important match for Gazinski from Canada.
Yes, look, but the next one is the most important match.
Yes.
The next one
With Ladi.
Dutch.
Yeah.
Yes.
With Ladi.
That is the
That's
qualify event.
That's it.
That is the qualify event.
So this is Tariq Ahmedi from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The referee for the bout, Uğur Kobaş from Turkey.
Mawashigari,
That
front
Mawashi,
leg.
front leg, exactly. But this time it met the criteria for
target.
Ippon and it met the target.
So
And that was a quick off the mark in just 9 seconds.
yes. No,
2 points score.
11
11
actually,
seconds.
but,
Yeah.
but too early, eh?
Yes,
Too early
yeah,
to-
yeah. Actually, that was. So it's 2 points he leads now with the Senchu advantage.
Wow. Acrobat karate. Nice.
It's almost Kataguruma. So Ahmedi gets the warning, category 2 from the referee. So in that situation, 2 of the referees gave a point for red. Two of the judges gave a point for red. 2 of the judges gave a category 2 warning for red. So the referee has to make the decision whether it's a point or whether it's a warning. He's gone for the warning. So it's category 2 offence. Punches flying in from all angles there between the 2 athletes. And once more, it's going to be another warning for Gasinski. They can't afford to make any more errors in category 2. He'll lose the bout through Hansoku. And we're still halfway of the bout to go.
Too much penalized. Too much.
There's a good Gyakuzuki from Kaczynski. That gives him another point. 3 points to 0 he leads. Ahmedi has got a lot of work to do here. Powers on second level.
Let them fight. Let them fight.
Chura Mawashi
See,
once more.
If you let them fight,
Thanks
they
to
score.
Kaczynski.
It's not a problem.
That's right. 5 points to 0. Kaczynski from Canada leading. A vitally important bout for him, having lost the first one. This will give him 2 points on the table. Front runner in the round robin in this category, Gogita Akania. Now this is the category 1, and the categories don't cross-accumulate, so although there are 4 orange dots, 3 are in C2 and 1 is in C1. Now this is a vitally important point for Tariq Ahmedi. He gets himself back on the score, on the board. He's still got 1 minute to go, and that's quite a long time, so it would be a mistake for Daniel Gasinski to think he's home and dry. Because 1 Ippon score, 3 points will make huge difference here. And then he would be in striking position to take that lead away from Daniel Gasinski. And Gasinski, no doubt, using this opportunity to have a little think about how he's going to make it. He came straight off the line there. Clever tactic. Slowed down, just casually putting his hand pad on, and then when the referee said Hajime, he just flew straight in there with the attack, didn't he, Davide? It was quite quite a clever little tactic to use.
So he decided that it's better to score than
Exactly.
to be penalized.
Exactly. Correct.
Yes.
And the best way to win a bout is to score points.
Yes, yes, without any doubt.
And it is a successful challenge from the coach of Tariq Ahmedi. And it is possible for both athletes to score. So it's 6 points to 2 now as we go into the last 45 seconds of the bout. Once more, Tariq Ahmedi has got himself back in contention. He's still within 3 points. If he can take 3 points and force an error to see Daniel Gasinski cannot afford another Jogai to lose Senchu, that wouldn't mean anything. He would lose the match for Hansoku.
Yes. So it's not
And
a
now
problem to lose the Senchu.
Tariq Ahmedi is looking stronger as we close in on this last 35 seconds of the bout. Daniel Gasinski is changing his tactics.
Yes,
He needs to be very careful here, doesn't he, Davide?
He's waiting too much. He has to fight. You see? You see?
He's much stronger when he is attacking.
He has
But
to
again,
attack.
he was second, wasn't he?
Always he's second. He has to attack first. Otherwise, he's
This
slower than
is a fantastic comeback here from
opponent.
Tariq Ahmedi. He's growing in strength and confidence with every hajime from the referee. Hajime being begin. There's a video call from the coach for Tariq Ahmedi. This is quite a vital position as well. If this levels the score 6-6, the only difference is that Senchu held by Daniel Gasinski.
Do you see a clean point? I don't know. I think it's not a...
Now the punch definitely attacks there, but the arm is bent. Now whether
Yes.
it had sufficient form or correct distance, that will be the decision, and the answer is no. Fariba Madani puts the red card up, and the cards for both athletes have gone as we go into the last 20 seconds. Ahmedi Tariq
Too dangerous.
Put him
too
under.
dangerous.
puts in that side kick, and
Too
there are the
dangerous.
2 flags.
You
And look
have
at
to
the way
fight.
this has turned around now. He's
You
going to
have
get a
to
Wazari. That puts him above the score of Daniel Gasinski. Daniel Gasinski was thinking he was home and dry, and he changed his tactics. Now he's come back again in the last 14 seconds. He has to score if he wants to go to Tokyo for the Olympics. Daniel Gasinski has got it all to do. Tariq Ahmedi still fights him off into the last 4 seconds. And it's all to go. And there it is, another fantastic kick. Great defensive kick.
Wow.
Now, Daniel Gazinski's holding, it looks to be as though he's holding his groin area. Now the judges had put their flags out for a Wazari score. The referee is doing the standing count of 10 because Daniel Gazinski's torso, his body was on the floor, on the mat. Now the whole question here is whether it was a technique that was so strong that it deserved a warning or a penalty for contact, or whether indeed it was a good kick. And it certainly stopped him dead in his track, because Daniel Gazinski, either, we see the flags are still out. The referee is now going to make a decision on whether it was a contact or a point. And he gives the score 9 points to 6 as the clock struck down to 0, and the win, what a brilliant win, it has to be said, from Tariq Ahmedi, coming back from 6 points to 1 down to win that bout against Daniel Gazinski of Canada. Now Daniel Gazinski must be kicking himself, thinking that he was there.
Look, he has the last possibility in the last bout.
But look at the points. Now, Daniel Ahmedi has 9 points now.
Yes.
I know, and it's the head-to-head, of course, the head-to-head. And we still have Tariq Ahmedi now shot straight to the top of the table. He's now got 4 points. He leapfrogs Gogita Akania.
So the next bout will be from Tyrone and Daniel, Netherlands, Canada, the most important bout in their life for the moment.
It will indeed.
Because one of them will go to Tokyo.
Exactly.
So, stay tuned. But he changed tactic. He decided to wait, and he was every time late.
He was second. He was second each time, and that's where he rushed in to try to. And to be fair, what's happening? We're seeing more and more of this two-down defensive side kick. There was 0.1 on the clock. Here, look, we see now Tariq Ahmedi with 4 scores in the GS column here, 4 points, but he has 13 points in favor. Gogita Akania, 3 points. Tyron Daniel Ladi, 1 point. And sitting at the bottom now is Daniel Gazinski, even though he was leading with 6 points. So it's all going to be down to Gazinski's last match, and if he can get 2 points, he would leapfrog Tyron Daniel Ladi. Yes. So this is going to be a do or die for Ladi and for Gazinski.
Yes, yes.
The winner of that bout goes to Tokyo.
Ticket to run.
Wow. But in the meantime, we're back to the female Kumite plus 61 kilogram category. You see at the top of the table, Elena Carici, Silvia Semarero from Italy, sharing 2 points with Farrell Abdelaziz, but because of the 5 points for and I nearly said goal advantage, but it isn't, it's the points advantage. Yes. I was nearly commentating on football there, sorry. Melissa Bratic is still sitting on the bottom of the table.
Yes.
Melissa Bratic. This is another Canadian fighter. It's fantastic for Canada to have 2 athletes, one in the male, one in the female.
Yes.
And it's great to see the athletes from Canada coming into this area. So it's got to be a perfect performance here from Melissa Bratic. And no doubt the president of the Canadian Karate Federation, Craig Volke, will be looking on, biting his nails at this moment. But Bratic is up against a strong opponent here with Elena Carici. Bratic lost her first bout. Carici won, 2 points to 1. Bratic lost her second bout. Karici won her second. So Karici doesn't have to work so hard because she's pretty much home and dry. Bratic, though, has to pull out all of the stops if she's to stand any chance whatsoever of becoming an Olympian. So we have Canada wearing the blue colours. Sorry, Canada wearing the red colours. Melissa Bratic and Elena Karici for Switzerland in blue. The referee, Eloise Wisbeck from Austria, invokes category 2 warnings for passivity. There's no reason whatsoever for Karici to put any stress under herself. If she can get a draw out of this, she'll be comfortably sitting on top of the table with 5 points. Bratic, on the other hand, will go nowhere with just 1 point. Unless it comes down to the head that she has with whoever is sitting on the bottom of the table.
They have nothing to lose. I don't know why they don't open the fight.
Well, Elena Karici has no reason to have to win.
I understand.
She just doesn't want to lose. And of course, she's the other part of the play here is Karici is so strong and so fast. She could be lulling her opponent into a false sense of security,
Yes.
as she has just done there, and then sprung the trap to score the point.
Yes.
So it's Karici 1 point and the Senchu. Now that piles immense pressure on Melissa Bratic. She has 1 minute left to try and claw something out of this to keep her Olympic dream alive. But instead of points, she gets penalties. For stepping off the tatami, a Jogai warning, and another category 2 against her. .22 seconds left. Bratic must do something. She needs at least 2 points as it stands if she wants to beat Karici. But instead, she spins about and steps off the tatami and will receive now another category 2 warning.
Wow. This ponytail is not working, eh?
No.
Not at all.
Not at all. Karici's being penalised for time wasting by the referee. She loses the Senchu with 5 seconds. Oh, that was very close from Bratic there. But she's lost it, and Karici screams out with joy because she knows that that's her place secured with 6 points now for those wins. Silvia Semarero will be coming out next and be looking at the way Qualification's performed. Qualification convincingly has dominated this category. Qualification's completed her 3 bouts. She's won all of them. And here is how she did it look. Elena Qualification with 6 in the general score. Silvia Semarero still on 2. Ferial Abdelaziz still on 2. So these have really got to go for it. But sitting on the bottom of the table and on her way home is Melissa Bratic. But the other two, Silvia Semarero and Abdelaziz, they will be looking to hopefully take the silver medal position in this tournament, because there is a gold, silver and bronze medal at stake in the qualification tournament. So Davide.
Yes.
You obviously would like to see, well, you've got another Italian
Yes.
athlete in the Olympics. You
moment.
must be so proud as president of the Italian Karate Federation.
Sure, Billy, but these results come from the past, and is a very long path that started with the qualification in 2018, in July 2018, for all the athletes. As you said before, they made more than 20 qualifying competition around the world. So some of them were under stress for a period, some of them underperformed for a period, and but the athletes understand that they have the possibility to make a step in the Olympics, and they change mentality, and now we have 5 qualified athletes, but I'm looking for all the other today, more than 60 qualified athletes.
Yes.
And tomorrow we are going to meet to see the continental peak, how it's going to work.
When you say we, that's the World Karate Federation?
Yes, the World Karate Federation is going to meet to pick the athletes from the continental representation, and we will have some good surprise for sure.
And how does that work, Davide?
It works by priority. We start from Oceania with the 2 highest athletes in the Olympic standing. After we go to Pan America with the 2 higher athletes. After we go to Africa, then we go to Asia, and then we go to Europe. The only difficult things to understand is that we have only 2 places by Olympic category for every Olympic category, and if you fill the category with the other continents, even if you are on the top in your continent in this category, but the places are full, you cannot get your ticket.
Okay.
Because we give priority to the continent that, as Australia, they are very far.
That may be not
yes,
represented so far.
Represented so far. So.
Okay, so when you say you go to Oceania first, etc.,
Yes.
and Europe last, that doesn't mean that they still can't qualify, even though it simply means that if there's someone in a category from that continent,
yes,
then that's the deciding factor.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. So that way the Olympics will be representing all continents.
For sure, because till this moment we don't have any Oceanian qualified athletes, so we are going to take the 2 best that actually are very good athletes in any case, but they miss the opportunity to qualify, and they will have the ticket for Tokyo, and so on for the other continents, and so 12 places will be a point in this case.
So if viewers were to look at the Olympic standing now,
yes,
for those continents, they will be able to see who those
yes.
athletes are.
But they know, eh?
And the athletes
yes.
know, and they're probably jumping for joy.
Yes, yes.
At this stage.
For sure, the Australian and not the Australian, but the Oceanian know that they will be
right
in the Olympics. After, maybe some Pan American understand that they are almost in, But everything could change after every category. So I will wait till the next bout over 75 kilogram category to close the Olympic standing.
Yes.
Because every single medal, every single ticket for Tokyo could change this ranking.
Of course.
So we have to wait.
Wow. And I think it is fair to say that karate has succumbed to one of the most complicated, and not necessarily complicated, but certainly one of the most difficult pathways to Tokyo and the Olympics.
Yes.
With only 10 categories.
Yes.
It's just
compared to other sports that they have the fortune, the luck to have more bigger group in the category, and we ask to the athletes a very long path to qualify, but they did, and we know that we have the best athletes in Tokyo. This is for sure.
Well,
if we could have 15, we would have the top 15.
So the video review. Thank you very much indeed, Davide, for that comprehensive explanation of the selection process. That's really helpful. Here is a video review. There's that Uramewashi coming in. It's gone over the shoulder of Semarero, who's leading the score, but it hasn't passed. Because Semarero got her arm up high, it didn't allow the kick to meet its target. So no more cards for either of them. And it's Semarero leading 3-0 with just 5 seconds still to go. She's going to be penalised for pushing. Now, if she loses the senchu, as she does, from Robert Hamara, the referee from Norway, if that Ippon score can be achieved from her opponent here, but it won't from Ferrol Abdelaziz. She has lost the bout.
Congratulations.
Yep, Silvia
both of
Semarero.
them, they are both qualified for Tokyo, but they deserve.
And this match would determine the outcome of who was going to finish in top, in second or third place. So the table is, we will have in a few moments. There's just a chance to celebrate there and have a look at the highlights. That was the Jordan Uramewashi, fantastic Uramewashi there.
But now the most important bout for Gadzinski and...
Yes, indeed, it will be. Wow, that was a brilliant Uramewashi heel kick. As she came in, look at the height of the knee lift and the leg coming up, hooking back onto the back of the head. Now that momentum of Abdelaziz pushed over Semarero, so that's not the issue. That doesn't matter. But here's the table now. Look, Elena Corici 6 points, Silvia Semarero in second place with 4 points, Ferrol Abdelaziz with 2, and it's unfortunately the end of the road for Melissa Bratic, who's got no scores in favour, which is a real shame. But unfortunately, there are only 3 places available, and they go to the athletes who got those points on the board. We have 2 more matches left in the male plus 75 kilogram category. This match will be between Tyron Darnell Ladi and Daniel Gasinski of Canada. A do or die duel between the two.
Hero or
zero. Exactly.
Hero or zero.
So what on earth would the coaches have been trying to do to gee these 2 fighters up to get them ready for this bout?
Yes.
So just to remind you that Tyron Darnell Ladi has 1 point. Daniel Gasinski has no points. Now Gasinski wins the bout. He takes the 3rd place. Ladi takes the bout. He will have 3 points, and he will either become third or second, depending on the scores achieved, and we'll see that on the table at the end of the bout. So it's do or die for both of these fighters.
I would expect a nice kick from Kaczynski. It's time.
He has the capability, doesn't he, Davide? That was the Chudan Mawashi that he scored in his last bout.
Yes.
To take 2 points early on. The referee for the bout, Mansour from Kuwait.
Tyron is not doing a lot.
He's not. He's perhaps waiting for Kaczynski to make a mistake, expose a weakness in his attack or defense. Kaczynski's not using a combination. He's making single attacks at the moment, both of them going in with Zukis. Now, this is an interesting one because Kaczynski has opened the score, and because there was a flag in favour of Ladi, but the coach has lost his card, he couldn't call for a video review, and it may well be that Ladi could have scored a point there, but the judges can only give the point that they see first. They can't give one for blue, one for red.
No.
So 3 went for blue, 1 went for red. And Ladi is now in a difficult position.
Wow. You cannot stop. You cannot stop in the corner.
You
cannot lose concentration. Come on.
It is not the responsibility of the fighter to stop the match and to wave his hand and say my pad is off, because the referee quite rightly allowed the bout to continue. And what he's done, he's put himself in unnecessary pressure there, Kaczynski. That was a poor concentration. This time, though, he's been more positive about his fighting, and he will receive another Yuko. Now, if he wants to stay in this, for goodness sake, Daniel Kaczynski, stick to the plan and do what you do best. And that was to attack, because that's what he did in the earlier round.
But we have understood before that he has to attack.
Of course.
Because when he's in defense, he could make some mistake.
He becomes weaker, doesn't he?
Yes.
And he's going to be put under pressure because Tyron Daniel Ladi has got all of the abilities, a powerful fighter, a big man, and he's only trailing by 1 Yuko. And into the last 30 seconds. Now, Kaczynski must stay in contention, and here he's gone.
Yes.
And give himself unnecessary pressure, because that's going to be a fantastic Wazari score from Tyron Daniel Ladi, who now is in the lead. And Kaczynski, both punches come in at the same time. Now, again, the referee has to give the score. 3 flags out for blue, none for red. And in the old days, it could have been an Iuchi, but it was definitely Kaczynski's score in the finish. We have a difference here in this last 8 seconds of Senchu. That's the only difference between the two. He must not step off the tatami, and he does exactly that.
No.
He does exactly that.
Unbelievable. This means lost the Olympics for nothing.
He stepped off the tatami and loses Senchu. He will get a draw. That will give him 1 point. Tyron Daniel Ladi
This is
going to the
unbelievable.
Olympics
This is unbelievable.
because of a Jogai mistake in the last couple of seconds.
This is unbelievable.
That is twice Daniel Gasinski was at Tokyo and decided to come home instead.
This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm really sorry for this. I'm sorry. Because of the results.
Yes,
you can manage differently, but Tyron deserved because he was there.
He was there. He was the one who was putting them under pressure.
Yes.
He was the one who knew what he had to do.
That was amazing, Mawashigeri.
Brilliant. Now, Gasinski got his points early on, but his plan fell apart. But the plan from Tyron Daniel Ladi did not. And he kept going right to the very end, and he was the one who came away with the spoils. So well done, Tyron Daniel Ladi. You are going to the Olympics. And as we see here, Tariq Ahmedi, 4 points. Gogita Akania, 3 points. Daniel Ladi, because of that forced error in the last few seconds, gave him that 1 point from a draw. Daniel Gasinski, you are getting nothing. You've got to go home.
Wow.
0 to 0 in split second,
Yes,
Davide.
yes, it's happened in sport, unfortunately. But this is the sport.
The last of the bouts in the round robin for the male plus 75 kilogram category is between Tariq Ahmedi and Gogita Akania. Both of these fighters are sitting in comfortable positions. At the moment, it's Tariq Ahmedi who's at the top of the table. Gogita Akania is sitting in second position. Now, that can't be changed. They will either be first or second, depending on the outcome of this. Ahmedi gets the win, he will go to 6 points. Gogita gets the win, he'll go to 5 points. They get a draw, they will have it'll be Ahmedi at the top with 5 points and Akania with 4. So they're both comfortably in the Olympics, that's for sure.
Yes.
But both will, of course, want to be in the #1 position following this qualification tournament. The referee for the bout just checking the footwear, Fariba Madani of the United States. And what the referee is just reminding Ahmedi is that the toes of his footwear must be covered. If the toes are exposed, then that could be dangerous. It could obviously go into the eye of the opponent and cause serious damage. In your day, Davide, and you have to say much more before than my day too, there were no foot pads.
No.
And very small hand pads.
Unfortunately, yes.
And many more injuries, has to be said.
Look, the higher level athletes always were much less injury, and to fight between expert athletes was much more safe.
Yes.
We have to say, but with very different gloves, we have to say, and shin pad, I think it could happen.
Yeah, and the sport is much, much safer as a result of that, because now you have a pad against a bone, you know, like a hard target. Before it was bone against bone, that's where you got the split skins and injuries.
Yes.
So this is, but we have to be careful of concussion, of course. The concussion is something that the WKF medical commission are now looking very carefully at.
Yes, because you know sometimes the referees cannot say the impact of a technique, because with this kind of glove you don't hit the bone, as you say before. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's very difficult to understand if it was a strong contact, a concussion, or a good technique. That's why we are looking for the safety of the athletes more deeply in this period.
Exactly. So this bout, as we are pretty much halfway through, there's a
Almost.
Chudan Yoko Geri opportunity.
Almost. Yes, I have to say now that the first priority of an athlete is to try to win the bout, not to lose, not take so much care of safety in this period.
Yeah,
Before was something much complicated, much more complicated.
So this bout has all the hallmarks of a draw, looking at it, unless one of them decides to go for it in the last 50 seconds or so. And neither have any reason to do that because they're both qualified. It's just determining who will sit on top of the round robin and take the gold medal from the tournament.
Who will win in case of draw?
If it's a draw, it would be 5 points to Ahmedi, and it would be 4 points to Akane. So
okay.
Ahmedi would take the top slot.
So if Akane
if he wants to win the gold,
he's
got to win the bout.
Yes.
Of course, what he doesn't want to do is get injured. Neither of them want to get injured. That would be tragic.
He should try. And maybe this Yakutsuki was in, eh?
It's possible, and certainly was convincing the...
But Jordan?
The coach.
Now?
That was the Zuki.
I don't see.
And the signal is for a punch.
No. This is not.
And there was the kick that came in afterwards. So you see the panel down on the left of the screen. Pirkko Heinonen and Juan Antonio Velasco making a decision. They're relaying that decision back to here. The video review team are away from the arena, and they've decided that it is not a score. And you can see the action of the punch rising again. And that was poor form. So it didn't meet the criteria with no more time on the clock. Both these athletes, fantastic fighters. They will both be going to the Olympics. Ahmedi will finish the tournament on top of the table. And we'll have a chance to have a look at that in a moment. But before then, there'll be a chance also to have a look at some of the highlights of the bout.
Yes.
Davide, we're going to be, just before then,
yes.
Here you can see Tariq Ahmedi, 5 points, clear at the top. Good scores though, 13 points. Yes. Gogita Akane, 4 points. Tyron Ladi with just 2 points. With 2 points, sorry, not just 2 points, with two very important points. Daniel Gasinski with just 1 point. And because of that, Joe Guy, he lost the Senchu and only got that 1 point. If that would have been 2, he would have been in third position going to the Olympics.
Yes.
But he's not. It is going to be Tyron Daniel Ladi.
Yes. You are right.
Davide, I'm afraid you're going to have to leave us, aren't you? Because you're going to be busy presenting awards in just a few moments. So the next time we get together, I think we'll be in Tokyo.
For sure, Billy.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
We will be in Tokyo, and I would like to congratulate, as chairman of the WKF Athletes Commission, with all the athletes that, with the very, very long journey, qualify for Tokyo. They will represent all the athletes of the past and most of the athletes of the future. So I really thank all the athletes for this immense sacrifice to compete for more than 3 years to be ready for Tokyo and to be ready for today. So it was exciting to represent all of them, and I'm really proud of all the athletes around the world. Thank you, Billy.
Thank you very much indeed, Davide, and what a profound statement. They are representing athletes of the past and of the future.
Yes.
Congratulations
yes. You,
for all of the athletes from Italy, by the way.
Sure.
Well done. And thank you, my friend,
thank you,
Davide Banatello.
Thank you.
World champion, superstar in karate. Bye-bye. Well, we now have getting ready for the award ceremony in just a few moments. So here are the three athletes who've qualified for the Olympics. And that is the situation, but I do understand that there has been a protest from the coach from Canada because of the jogai, that violation in that last couple of seconds. And the award ceremony cannot continue until that protest has been, the outcome of that protest is known. So as soon as we get the answer to that, I'll let you know. In the meantime, we'll be looking at the award ceremony for the female plus 61 kilogram athletes. So from Egypt, Feral Abdelaziz takes the bronze medal from Davide Benatello, who has just left the commentary position to go and make that award. Silvia Semarero takes the silver medal. Too many silvers in there. And well done. That's the ticket to Tokyo, literally in her hands. Paris to Tokyo. Fantastic. What a moment for Silvia Semarero. Elena Carici from Switzerland takes the gold medal. And they will be joining Ahmedi Albasali, Gongli from China, Meltem Hakologlu from Turkey, Ayumi Uekaza from Japan, and Arina Zaretska from Azerbaijan. So congratulations to the three athletes from Italy, Egypt and Switzerland. The Olympians, Carici, Semarero and Abdelaziz. So we're just awaiting the outcome of the protest for the male plus 75 kilogram category. Well, in that closing stages of that bout, Daniel Gazinski from Canada was deemed to have stepped off the tatami into a jogai position, in which case he lost the senchu, which he held, was the advantage that he held. And had that have gone to a 1-1, he had the senchu, he would have won the match. Because he was deemed to have stepped off the tatami, he was penalized with Hansokachui and lost the senchu. The protest, I understand, was based on the fact that they didn't believe he stepped off the tatami. There would be video evidence to suggest one way or the other. And as soon as the outcome of that is known, I will let you know. Tense moments for all in the plus 75 kilogram category, with the exception, of course, Gogita Akania, who is confirmed in his position, and Tariq Ahmedi, who is also confirmed in his position. So please bear with us for just a few moments longer. So as we are still awaiting clarification of that last situation, you see the medals being held there, waiting for the award. We'll come back to you on the tatami or in the arena in a few moments longer. But in the meantime, just to remind us that in the plus 75 kilogram category, already qualified, is Uğur Aktaş of Turkey, Ryotaro Araga of Japan, Sajed Ganzadeh of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Jonathan Horn, the world champion from Germany, Ivan Kvesic, who's also a world champion from Croatia. They've been joined now by Tariq Ahmedi from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Gogita Akania from Georgia. And depending on the outcome of this protest, it will either be Tyron Darnell Ladi or Daniel Gazinski from Canada. Nail-biting moments for both these athletes, and it all depends on whether or not the protest has been upheld. If it's been upheld, then Daniel Gazinski will go to the Olympics. If it's been rejected, Tyron Ladi will be going. See Gogita Akania then taking his rightful place. And what a performance he put in. He's worked so hard over the years to get himself into the Olympics. Tariq Ahmedi, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, also in a fantastic position now. These two guys have done their job. They've worked tirelessly to get themselves to the Olympics. They've done so well. You can see how relaxed and their journey is now just beginning. Their Olympic journey is just beginning. They will both be Olympians. the moment they step on the tatami in Tokyo. And that will stay with them forever. And who knows? We could be looking at an Olympic gold medalist right in front of us. So, as you see now, I do now have the outcome of the protest, and Davide Penatello has joined me again after that medal award. Well, the outcome is that so far is that the tatami will be made ready once more, and the athletes will be brought back onto the tatami, and the referee will indicate the outcome of the match. But now, will it be Daniel Kaczynski from Canada? Was he successful in that challenge? Was it a jogai? Wasn't it a jogai? Or will it be his opponent, Tariq Ahmedi? Did he force that last error? And will he be going to the Olympics?
Wow, Billy, what an exciting situation.
Just think of this at the moment. You've got these two fantastic athletes, both been working so hard, all of their karate career. They're standing on the tatami. They're waiting for a decision to be made. Was it jogai or wasn't it jogai? The last couple of seconds and this decision is going to determine their futures.
Yes.
The referee, Mansour from Kuwait, gets the instruction to come out and make the decision. And what will it be? He is going to show the signal for jogai. He's taken the jogai signal away.
But the points, we missed the points. We have to have the points on the scoreboard.
The scoreboard needs to be corrected.
And the senshu.
And the senshu taken away that was put on. So remember, the senshu was in favor of Daniel Kaczynski, and now the senshu is on the screen, as you see. That blue dot alongside the 3.
Yes.
That's the senshu that makes the difference. And there was 3 seconds still on the clock. And there's an ippon score given by one of the judges right on the button.
And this changed the history.
And this now has changed the history, and it's that senshu, that yellow dot, that has secured the future of Daniel Ahmedi. Now this, for me, Davide, is a double-edged sword.
Yes.
It should not have been called for jogai if it wasn't jogai.
Yes.
That's the first thing.
Sure.
And it's great that there's a protest system that is robust and can correct an error, because it is so important, isn't it?
And was also point. Look, this is sports. This is. But at the end, what this is real good, that the athletes, the coaches, has the possibility to protest.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And to change the results of the bout.
If they're correct. So now look at the table. Tariq Ahmedi still sits on top with 5 points. Gogita Akania still sits in second place with 4, but the change has occurred from Daniel Kaczynski, who was going home. And we weren't his best friends, I'm sure, because we were so disappointed in what was happening. But we are now eating humble pie to a point. I certainly am, because now Daniel Kaczynski has 2 points, and sadly it's Tariq Ahmedi who goes home.
Yes. This is sport, this is the life, but if this is the true also. So as I told you before, I full support the possibility to protest for something that is against, of something that could the referee miss, and they did, and the Canadian get the spot the last 3 seconds, that everything could happen in 3 seconds.
Of course. We've seen Ippons, we've seen world titles won and lost in the
Yes.
last second.
Yes.
Right on the button.
Yes.
So 3 seconds is a long time
Yes.
in karate world. I have to say, though, Davide, I am devastated for
Yes.
Tyron Daniel Lardi.
Yes.
Because that poor guy was ready to go. Imagine the emotion. Not just Tyron, but his family, his
Yes.
friends.
Everybody.
Who were supporting him. And they were celebrating that he was on his way to Tokyo. And conversely to that, the injustice that was being served to Daniel Kaczynski.
Yes.
But it's been rectified. Thank goodness for that.
So thank you again, Billy. Now it's time.
You're back to the awards.
Yes.
Well, thank you again, my friend.
Bye-bye.
And take care. Thank you. So Davide makes his way back to the awards ceremony, where now he will be able to put a medal around the neck of at least one of these athletes. The bronze medal now goes to Daniel Kaczynski of Canada. And I am a friend of Craig Vokey, the president from Canada. He must have been having palpitations there. So congratulations to Craig Vokey as well. Daniel Kaczynski, Olympian in just 49 days. Gogita Akania takes the silver medal to put among his many medals. But that's the thing, that's the ticket he wants, and that's the smile that's been brought to his face. Paris to Tokyo. And the gold medal goes to Tariq Ahmedi from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Fantastic performance here in the Pierre de Coubertin Stadium for the Olympic qualification tournament in Paris, France. The medalists and Olympians for the male plus 75 kilogram category. Tariq Ahmedi, Gogita Akania and Daniel Kaczynski are to go to Tokyo for the 2020 Olympic Games. So we're coming to the end of the program, the end of the tournament. the qualification tournament for the 2020 Olympic Games. We will have a chance to have a look at some of those fantastic fighters and karateka, kata players over the last 3 days. And in the meantime, the all-important photographs. And it's an opportunity for me to just congratulate the French Karate Federation, Francis Didier, the president of the federation, for the organization, the WKF, of course, for all of the hard work, particularly around protection of these athletes in the COVID-19 protocol. The ISB production team, fantastic team of guys who've worked tirelessly to bring this program to you around the world. And not last or least, by no means, those wonderful athletes that have made this such a fantastic tournament to be part of. Our top 5. Silvia Semarero, that Uramowashi. There's the one. That gave her the 3 points to become an Olympian. Daniel Gasinski, that controversial decision that was turned round. That's the Chudan Mawashi, that 2-point score from Daniel Gasinski of Canada. Once more, Silvia Semarero, that Chudan Mawashi around the back. Another 2-point score. Wasari. And that Chudan Yokogeri from Tariq Ahmedi from Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, stopping Daniel Gasinski in his tracks. So, as we come to the end of the program, I'm going to leave you with some of the best images of the tournament over the 3 days. I'm Billy Brennan, and I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. And until we meet again in Tokyo and the Olympic Games, thank you for watching, and bye-bye.